Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Dental Unfiltered. I'm here with my normal co-host, Dr. Andrew Vallow, and today we have a really awesome podcast for you. It's social media ads with authority. It's one thing to just do an ad and say I did one and check it off the box. It's nothing to put authority behind it and intentionality and really direct what you're doing with the ad and put as much oomph behind it as you can. So, Dr. Vallow, this was your subject you came up with, and I really agreed with it when you explained it to me. Tell me your view on what you mean by social media ads with authority.
Yeah. So I guess real quick, we'll backtrack a little bit, guys. There's different principles of persuasion. And one of the principles of persuasion that, is recommended to use when you're trying to either get conversions from an advertisement or get conversions from treatment acceptance. One of those principles is authority. And essentially what it means is you need to make your customers, your patients aware that you are an authority figure on, this material. You're an expert on the subject matter. And I think it's a opportunity that a lot of dentists miss out on. Again, I think that dentists are shy when it comes to advertising. I mean, again, we've talked about this before. It wasn't that long ago where dentists literally weren't even allowed to advertise, which again is crazy to me, but that's neither here nor there. But even today, I feel like a lot of dentists are afraid of crossing the line. They're afraid of being viewed as, salesy, sleazy, pushy, whatever it is. And so their advertising is super cookie cutter. And let me tell you guys this, again, this is a whole nother subject matter, but all the docs that are wary of advertising because they think it doesn't work, it's not that advertising doesn't work. It's that bad advertising doesn't work very well. So if you just hire one of these cookie cutter marketing agencies and you put out cookie cutter ads and it's just like, oh, dental office, you don't have a strong call to action. You're not creating authority. You're not making that ad stand out from the other ads. That advertising does not work very well. I mean, people, unlike other industries, people aren't usually excited about going to the dentist. And if you have a boring ad for your dental office or your dental services, it probably is not going to get a whole lot of traction. So this comes back to how we advertise, principles of persuasion. Some of the other ones are things like scarcity, urgency, which are other things that we apply to the ad. But today I really wanted to focus on the principle of authority. Now, not all advertising gives you the opportunity to do this. So like when you do Google ads, it's tougher in those little Google ads to really create a whole lot of authority. You only have so many words on the page. I guess with the Google ads, you do have your Google reviews, but that is more of social proof than authority. That is, if you have 1,000 Google reviews that are good, that is social proof. Another principle of persuasion, that is showing that other people like you chose this dentist. And that creates, that response where, oh, if all these other people chose this dentist, then maybe I should choose this dentist. So again, I think Google does well for that because of the Google reviews. But it's more challenging on those Google ads to really create authority. The two areas for opportunity here, in my mind, that the best two, which I guess there's others, there's radio, there's television. I don't do any of that. I do know some docs that have had success with television. It's very expensive. I think if you're going to do television, you've got to be those, full arch type offices, and that's where you're advertising. Even so, I have some doubts about if it really is as effective or more effective than social media advertising when it comes to full arch implants. But I'm going to put those aside because those aren't areas that I focus on. So, the two that really work well are social media, Facebook, and particularly Instagram. I really feel like there's a huge opportunity for this authority principle on Instagram. And that's what a lot of this episode is going to be about. The other one is mailers, just because you've got this big blank canvas where you can put a lot of different things about awards. Now, you don't have the video format on mailers, although I did hear about a mailer where you can actually have a video play. And that's something I'm interested in looking at. I wouldn't do that to patients because it would be very expensive to do that. But If you're trying to advertise to other dental office, like if you're a specialist, I think it could be really cool to send out these custom mailers where you literally can play a video. There's like a little screen on the mailer. You know, the future is now. So like cool stuff there. But other than that, there's no video on mailers. So you don't have that opportunity to talk about yourself and kind of create the authority there. But you do have a blank canvas with a lot of space where you really can, you know, put different pictures of awards or different stats or different things on there. So I think you have, and we do when we send mailers, it's not a big part of my advertising strategy, but when we send mailers, I do focus on creating authority. I put screenshots, again, that's social proof really, but I put screenshots of our Google reviews, any awards that we've won. You know, I was selected as one of the 40 best dentists under 40. From Incisal Edge. And I use that in my marketing. I mean, I think dentists, if you've won an award, now, you know, there's those awards you can pay for. I didn't pay for that 40 under 40. There's the local top doc awards where you pay and you get a plaque. At the end of the day, though, I don't really see a problem with advertising those either. I think anything that you have received, you should use in your marketing because it really does create the authority. So again, we'll put that stuff down there. We are, as a Diamond Pro Invisalign office, we are top 1% worldwide for Invisalign treatment. I'll put that little statement. If I'm doing a mailer, I'm typically advertising big services like Invisalign. So I'll put a little blurb in there about how we are top 1% worldwide for Invisalign treatment, which is true. We are in the top 1% of all dentists and orthodontists that do Invisalign because of the volume of Invisalign that we do. So mailers, you can use it. Again, mailers, I would not make a big part of your budget. I just took over an office that was losing money. I bought it. I bought an office that was losing money. This was the first office I've ever bought that came with patients attached to it. And when I looked through their P&L, I realized, and I mean, I found out a lot more since I've actually taken over the office, but I realized right away, two of the biggest reasons why they were struggling. One, their marketing budget wasn't nearly high enough. And two, all of their marketing budget was going to mailers. So I think mailers can be a nice adjunct in certain circumstances at certain times, but mailers have to be done right. And I would not make mailers more than 5 to 10% of your advertising budget max. That is the most I would spend on mailers in a given year.
You know, on the mailers thing, it's kind of weird. I think like that doc must have been older, right? Or like had been in practice for really. So I feel like some people have a misperception of marketing. I think there's a time period in the past where it was like conventional marketing at the top of the pyramid, then digital was at the bottom because digital was still new. I think the pyramid's flipped over now, where it was before the thinking was I do TV, I do radio, I do mailers, maybe a little bit of digital. I feel like now it should be I do a lot of digital. If my digital's all good and I have budget left over, then I should do mailers or radio or something else. I think people think about it like this is the main course and digital is the side or the dessert, when really the main course and the protein is digital now and all the other stuff is sides.
Yeah, no, I think you're right, man. And what I'll say about it too is like, guys, I've realized just like in your stock portfolio or whatever else, like diversification is key. I mean, for me, the absolute best advertising that I do is Instagram video ads and Facebook video ads. But I don't do 100% of that because again, it's good to diverse. Not everyone watches these videos. So while I have the lowest cost per lead conversion, lowest cost, we get messages on Facebook and Instagram from potential patients. So while I have the lowest cost per lead conversion from those video ads, I do print ads on social media as well because I know not everyone watches videos. And I do some mailers here and there because I know not everyone's on social media. And I do Google ads because I know not everyone looks at mailers or is on social media. And there's certain circumstances where Google ads truly are better when looking for dental emergencies. People aren't normally just scrolling Facebook when they have a dental emergency. They're not, going to look through their mail to see if they can find a dentist. They're typically going to Google and they're searching for dentist near me, emergency dental care, whatever it is. So in that circumstance, it works best. So while I have the lowest cost per conversion on social media video ads, I do other advertising as well because I need to diversify and I need to capture those different patient demographics and I need to capture different patients in different circumstances. Now, I do spend the bulk of my advertising dollars on those social media video ads because they have the best ROI, but I still diversify. So this is, again, we're kind of getting off a little bit of a tangent, but I wanted to give you guys some background information. I do think, Matt, at some point it may be good to do episode on effective mailers, even though it's not a big part of my advertising strategy. I think so many dentists do mailers that it would be good to kind of explain some of the strategies that I use to really make them more effective. So
No, I think if we did, I think we should really focus in on being like how to use mail to generate collections and traffic in the practice. Because there's mailers you go buy from a service, and then there's mail you can send out, like the stuff Kelly Shorts told you about.
yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? Like I think it should
Yeah,
be
we
like
can
how
kind of combine internal.
like how
and
do we
external
utilize mail to
Yeah,
generate traffic, bring patients? Like how do you use mail for all
yeah.
things to fill the chair? I think
I
that'd be a
like
really
that.
good episode.
Well, guys, stay tuned. I mean, we've got so many great ideas, which I normally think of the morning of, but we've got so many other great ideas that we're going to talk about. So stay tuned to the podcast. That's coming in the future. But I want to get back to what we're here for today.
One thing about the authority or the doing the ads with authority thing, go back to the docs where you said, if they're doing cookie cutter ads, like you need some custom content and stuff. Sometimes, doc, listen really carefully. Sometimes you're driving along or you're thinking about your ads company, like, man, they do all this cookie cutter stuff and nothing custom for me. And my buddies does something custom for me. Well, had the ad company at some point asked you for media and had you not given it to them? Because we love to do the custom media if you guys furnish it, but like you have to give it to us generally. So if you're looking at your ads company, hey, they're using cookie cutter stuff. One, have they asked you for it? Because they should have asked you for custom content. If they didn't, have you offered it, which you shouldn't have to offer, they should have asked. But generally, every ads company that's running cookie cutter ads, if you go to them and say, hey, here's some custom content, they'll try it out and test it.
No, you're right, man. Because I've talked to other dentists that have used the same marketing company as me, Matt's company, Energize. So I've talked to other dentists that have said, hey, let me see the ads you're doing. They're like, why aren't they doing those things for me? And I'm like, well, I send them these videos, and I ask them, I want to do this stuff. And it's not only sending material, it's giving them the green light. So I know, Matt's team, I feel like is really good at what they do. They know what works, but I know that there's other docs that are, again, hesitant because they're like, ooh, that's too pushy for me, or ooh, I don't want to do free consultations. We can't advertise that, or whatever it is. So you have to trust you have to trust the experts, trust the process. You have to be willing to make your ad a little bit more bold. And to Matt's point, you got to do some, guys, I have taken probably thousands of selfie videos of myself for these different social media ads over the last couple of years. Now, the videos are typically anywhere from like 10 to 30 seconds. I mean, on Instagram, you can't even boost a reel if it's more than 90. I ran into that issue because I was trying to do more of an type of instructional thing that I wanted to boost about Invisalign. And I was like, oh man, it's really hard to cut this down to 90 seconds, but I knew that was all I could do if I wanted to boost it. But you also lose attention, man. I mean, it's hard to get people to listen past that 3-second mark. So if you don't like create that hook in those first 3 seconds, you're going to lose people. And even so, if you make the message longer than 10 to 30 seconds, even those that are listening, they're going to, I mean, think about yourself, man. I sometimes scroll some of these reels and stuff on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. And I'll start listening and I'm like, ooh, this sounds kind of interesting. And if it's going on too long, I'm just like, okay, I'm done, because we have short attention spans now. We're on to the next thing. So I guess that's my first piece of advice for these video ads. Keep them short. Don't add extra fluff in there. Make the very, very first 3 seconds are the most important part, because if you don't create a strong hook into that video to make them want to watch more, then you're going to lose them in those first couple seconds.
Sometimes, like when docs are thinking about this, they think about like production quality over production quantity.
Oh yeah, my production quality sucks. I mean, honestly, it's. I mean, okay, maybe it doesn't like suck, but it's not.
But you're not doing anything more than taking your phone out and hit record and saying something. And I know now. I think you do like one take almost now and throw it back in your pocket. Like I think you get pretty close to one take now. And a lot of times, like docs are like, but it's not perfect. It has to be perfect to be in the marketplace. For people to see it, it's got to be perfect. No, it actually, it's more effective. It's not perfect. The more manufactured it looks, the quicker it gets swiped because it looks like a commercial. You want it to be a true selfie. Now, the other thing that happens is docs get on screen and they don't like to see or hear themselves. Guys, your perception of yourself is different than the rest of the world's. The key is this. Andrew starts out the video, because I watch his videos because they're shoved in front of my face every day on my timeline. He starts out the video high energy, and he comes down to a good energy level and maintains the person's attention. All you got to do is have a few key elements: good voice inflection, good body language, eye contact with the camera, and good contents actually last. You can have great content and not have good voice inflection, good body language, and good eye contact, and the message is crap. You can have good voice inflection, good eye contact, good body language, and have a 5 out of 10 message, and that'll be more effective than a 10 out of 10 message without good voice inflection and body language.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're right, man. And again, it goes back to the point earlier of you can have great content, but people aren't typically listening past the first couple seconds unless you give them a reason to. So, and I agree with you. So I don't normally take one take. It normally takes at least a couple. But to Matt's point, I'm not looking for perfection. What I've realized is when I do my first take of a video, I think I'm in my head. I don't like write out scripts, but like in my head, I'm thinking like basically what do I want to say? And so like that first take or two, I feel like because I'm thinking so hard about the content I want to say in the video that my energy levels are lower because it's like I'm not as confident about what I'm saying. I'm questioning what I'm saying. And so like I'll listen, I'll go back and listen to that video I just recorded. I'm like, okay, that was basically the content I wanted, but the energy level was way too low. To Matt's point, especially at the beginning, like you've got to have some energy at the beginning of these videos. If you're just like kind of monotone or if you sound kind of shaky or you don't sound confident, that video is never going to work. So I'll usually do, I would say at least 2 to 3 takes for each. Now, again, the videos are 10 to 30 seconds, so it doesn't take a long time. But I'll usually do at least 2 to 3 takes of each video. And you'll notice like my energy level, my confidence goes up because after that first take or two, it's like now I know what I want to say. So I can say it like with authority. I can say it with confidence. And I think it just creates a much better video, much better like hook at the beginning of it. So again, I want to talk a little bit about creating authority in these videos and like what I'm saying in those first, 3 to 5 seconds. So, it goes back to earlier. And again, I'm sure I'll take slack from this from some dentists. I've taken slack before. I've had other dentists reach out to me. We've done podcast episodes about dentists that have critique my marketing style or whatever it is. But honestly, at the end of the day, man, I don't care. I mean, everyone can have their opinion. What I'm doing is working. What I'm doing is driving traffic and driving patients to be interested. And I'm not saying anything that's not true. I'm not out here lying or, just making up like BS. Like I am using things that I have achieved, accomplished, grown to whatever it is to create the authority in the beginning of the videos. So again, I had mentioned earlier, 2024, I was selected as one of Benko's 40 best dentists under 40. And I'm sure it had stuff to do with the Fast Growth My Dental Group, the podcast, the No Hungry Pets, charity that we've kind of created for the group. So like basically someone had submitted an application for me. They approved it. I won. I didn't pay anything. There wasn't like a plaque that I paid for or anything like that. They actually flew me out to New York City. I'm sure some of the listeners probably have won this too. It's cool. I mean, they fly out to New York City. They do a photo shoot. They literally dress you. They dress me in this like really loud jacket that I still take a lot of slack for too. But it's okay. It was interesting. It was bold. It got attention for sure. They do the photo shoot. They publish a magazine. They actually asked me to write a separate article in the magazine. So I've got like my little section where they talk about me and why I was selected for the award. And then they had me write an article about dental podcasting. So I've got like an article in there too. So it's pretty cool. But like, here's the thing, guys, you get something like that, use it in your marketing. I wonder how many of those dentists that have won that award actually truly use that to its potential. And so I do often the start of my videos. So I'll start with some kind of hook, like a question that's going to get their attention. And sometimes we're doing a free giveaway. As soon as we have our Invisalign party, we're doing a free Invisalign giveaway. You know what my hook is? Does anybody want to win free Invisalign treatment? And then with more energy. Hey, anyone want to win free Invisalign treatment? That's the hook, man. Once you say something like that, they're listening and you've got their attention for the next 15 to 20 seconds. So then I introduce myself. Hey guys, this is Dr. Andrew Vallow, one of America's 40 best dentists under 40. And to give back, I am doing a free Invisalign giveaway. And oftentimes I'll say something like, for the 5th year in a row, which, is true. We've done a number of these Invisalign parties. For the 5th year in a row, I am doing a free Invisalign giveaway. And again, we want to keep this short. So we're not giving a whole bunch of details. We're not telling them exactly how it works, just trying to get to the point where we're asking for action. So the call to action, as it's called. So then the next part is, for more information and your chance to win, just send me a message on Instagram. So boom, we put it all together, 15, 20-second video. Start, hook, first 3 seconds. Anyone want to win free Invisalign treatment? Then I create the authority. I introduce myself. I'm usually wearing scrubs. I usually do these videos at the office. So even though I'm not clinical these days, I will pick a day the office is closed. I go to all of our offices look pretty nice. Some of them are a little older that we bought. We've done some remodeling and stuff. Some still need a little bit of remodeling, but my startups are all very, very nice. But I go to my flagship. There's this beautiful part of the office where we've got our kind of centerpiece chandelier, and we've got the 3D gold walls on the back of the 12 o'clocks and stuff. So it's an aesthetic scene. So I go to that aesthetic scene. I put my scrub top on that has my name on it, and I record a selfie video of myself there. I create the hook, we do free whitening for new patients. So would anyone like free teeth whitening? Again, there's a hook. Now they're bought in. Now they're going to listen in the next 15 seconds to your video. Second part, create that authority, introduce yourself, say who you are, say what your credentials are. And like, okay, maybe you're not top 40 under 40, but maybe you were voted for some other local award. Maybe you have experience with this. Maybe you took some advanced education program that you're a fellow or graduate, whatever it is. Think about something that separates you from the pack, something that you've done that you're proud of, and put that in there to create some of that authority. Maybe it's just your Google reviews. Hey, I'm Dr. Smith, and we have over 1,000 5-star Google reviews at my dental office. Again, okay, maybe that's kind of social proof, but I still think it has that same effect. It's creating that trust, for others. But you need to do that. And this is why I think Instagram has more potential than Facebook, is because, and I guess going back, my Instagram, it's Dr. Andrew Vallow. So it's not named, I don't have different Instagrams for each of the offices. And I probably should create that just for, SEO and other things like that. But I have one Instagram page. I have links to it on all my different office Facebook pages. I have links to it on our Google profiles. But it is Dr. Andrew Vallow. So, it already has some authority. I've got about 15,000 followers on there. I've got before and after pictures. I've got different videos talking about different things. I also show that I'm a real human being. So like all my content isn't dental related. It's not dental videos and dental ads and things like that. I also have pictures of my family and family trips and, golf trips with the guys or whatever it is. So like I do other things on there as well to show like, hey guys, yes, I'm a dentist. Yes, I've got, this authority for these reasons, but I'm also a real person as well. I think that's why Instagram has the most impactful, results. So again, going back, first 3 seconds, create the hook, I love to ask a question. Ask a question that you think 90% of the people out there are going to be interested in and say yes to. Go into, introducing yourself, create the authority, and then give a really, really quick blurb, if anything, very, very vague details. They can find out the details when they message you. The more details that you give, the less reason they have to message you and ask questions. So, and again, just from an attention span standpoint, and guys, this wasn't something I always did right. I used to give a lot more details. And I realized, again, one, people just stop listening because, it's too late to get to the call of action and you've already lost the listeners. And again, two, if you give all the details, now they don't have any questions. Maybe they will call your office, maybe they won't, but you want to leave the offer, the giveaway, whatever it is, you want to leave it pretty vague and make that call to action as quickly as possible for them to send you a message on Instagram for more questions. So, if 4 questions or to qualify for your chance to win, whatever it is, just send me a message on Instagram. And that is the formula. That's the recipe for like 90% of my social media ads. Even on Facebook, I do a lot of videos. Now, Facebook, we use more for implants because the people, the demographic that needs dental implants, they are a lot more likely to be on Facebook than they are on Instagram. So I actually don't run like any implant ads on Instagram. I run ads for general new patients, teeth whitening, free teeth whitening, smile makeovers like with veneers, Invisalign. I actually might run some for Botox. We've got 3 docs now doing Botox in our office. So I actually recorded a video. I haven't decided if and when I'm going to use it yet. But like those are the things that I'm doing videos for on Instagram. And then on Facebook, our implant offices and even our general offices that are now doing implants at most of them, I will do videos about dental implants, and we have a lot of success with those as well.
I think the biggest barrier docs have for all this, when it comes to like shooting the content with authority and getting it out there, I think the biggest hurdle is just getting on camera. Like I feel like I actually, this has happened. Docs, if you're listening, we've had docs that really needed custom content. Like they were in tough markets and their acquisition cost was high, and we could drive it down with organic custom content. And I have gotten on Zoom or on Google Meet and coached them through, a kind of a commercial and what to say and their voice inflection, their body language, making them smile more, and gotten like after 20 or 30 takes, gotten a good take for us to use. And guys, really all it takes is just relax and forget the cameras there and just talk and do it with like the voice inflection and body language you would talk to a family member or a friend if you were excited with.
The more you do it, the easier it gets too. So, if you've never done it before, the first couple times you try to do this, you're going to feel way more awkward. It's going to feel weird. You're not going to like how the video looks or sounds. It's probably going to, again, like I said to Matt, usually I'm doing at least 2 to 3 takes, and I'm just 4 or 5 if I'm having trouble nailing exactly what I want to say. When I first started, it might have been 10. It might have been 15. I mean, it took me a while to kind of find that energy level, that vibe, whatever it was to really get the ad where I wanted it. And that's okay. I mean, just realize in the beginning, it might take a little extra time. Now, something I recommend for these videos, guys, is you don't want to have to shoot videos like you don't want to have to get in that headspace. Once you're kind of in that once you have a quiet office, because you don't want to do this when the office is busy and there's people running around and there's lots of background noise. So you want to do it when the office is empty, early in the morning before the team comes in, on the weekends, on a day that you're closed, whatever it is. But once you're there, you're in the headspace, you start recording, it becomes faster and faster. So like I will only go to my office to record video content like once every couple of months. But when I go, I'll spend, probably like 2 hours there, and I'll record like, I don't know, at least 8 to 10 different video content ads. And sometimes it's like different versions of the same type of ad. Like I'll do different versions of our free teeth whitening ad or our Invisalign ad, or just like different ads in general for different things. But like, it doesn't take, it's an hour or two a few times a year, man. Again, I go every few months. So maybe let's call it once a quarter. Let's call it 4 times a year. I spend a few hours taking video content, and that gives me enough custom video content for that entire year to run different advertisements at different cycles on Instagram and Facebook. So it's not a huge time commitment. If you're sitting here thinking, I don't have time to do this, it is not a huge time commitment. So that's not the reason you're not doing it. I want to give you guys a quick rundown so you can understand why you should be doing this. Matt, average cost per click on a Google ad for like solid results, we're thinking maybe like $35 to $65. We're not talking per patient conversion. We're talking per click.
Just click.
Yeah. $35 to $65. Does that sound about right?
I don't want to misjudge anybody or misguide anybody. I try to own my deficiencies. I don't really work in the Google department and don't know. That sounds right from meetings I've been in. But Matt D is the guy, not Matt B. Probably. I don't misguide anybody.
And guys, keep in mind I have 9 offices. We run different Google ads for each office. I would say a reasonable cost. Now, if you're doing like full arch implant ads, they might be a little higher. But like for the most part, your average Google ad for dentistry, typically I'm seeing results, and it's different in different markets. I see different results in South Florida than I do in Tampa. But I would say $35 to $65 cost per click. So again, cost per lead, not cost per new patient. Typically a good cost per new patient on Google can be anywhere between like $100 and $200. So if you think about that, maybe that means you've got a 25 to 35% conversion rate or something like that with these Google ads, 25 to 40. I don't know. But anyways, cost per lead, because I want to go back and use that same metric. When I do print ads on Instagram and Facebook, so ads with no video, my cost per lead, and my leads there are messages. So on Google, the lead might be click to your website. It might be a phone call. On Instagram and Facebook, they are messages directly to our account. Cost per lead is for print ads is typically somewhere between like $8 and $20. So we're already much better. So compared to Google, much cheaper print ads on Facebook and Instagram.
Now, what Andrew means by print ads on Facebook and Instagram, he means like posts with text.
Basically, any ad that doesn't have a video. It's not a reel. It's not a video. It's just a post ad. $8 to $20. So we're already way better on cost per lead than. And again, they're sending you a message. So you have the easy opportunity now, and it's maybe if you're a brand new startup, it's you. But like if you're bigger, you should either have someone on your team or outsource. Energize has a whole call center that does this stuff for me, and they message the patients, and they actually leverage AI and still have people. It's like, I mean, it works really well. But my point is, it is a message conversation, and now you can follow up on those. If the conversation goes stale, it's very easy to go back and follow up on those messages versus if you have someone click to your website, it's way harder to follow up with that person. If you have someone call and they don't schedule, it's way harder to follow up with that person, way easier to follow up when the conversation goes stale on message. So and Facebook and Instagram, guess what they want? They want people staying on Facebook and Instagram. So they actually make it so these ads tend to be more successful if you are running a message ad where they are staying on their site to message you. Just think about that. So, okay. Google, $35, $65 cost per lead click. Instagram, Facebook, print post ad, $8 to $20 is typically what I'm seeing. Now let's get to those video ads, guys. Those video ads, I'm typically seeing anywhere between $2 and $6. If I'm seeing cost per message over $6, I'm usually turning that one off. So 2 to 6. So we went 35 to 65, down to 8 to 20, down to 2 to 6. Do you see why you should be doing video ads if you're not already doing video ads, guys? It is couple hours, a few times a year, shoot some custom content. Now you got to do it right. Again, if you're not doing it right, you're not going to get people listening past those first couple seconds. So follow the recipe I laid out earlier. But if you do that, now how do I boost these ads? So Energize handles it for me on Facebook. On Instagram, I do it myself. But I'll spend on Instagram about $50 per day. I found that's a sweet spot. So any ad I run, I'm typically doing $50 per day for that ad. I've realized if you do a lot more than $50, you start seeing diminishing returns. So the ad becomes less effective for the ad spend. If you do less than $50, you're not getting enough clicks, enough audience.
You're saying like this is what it is as a rule for us. That's in and around Tampa in Florida. If you're in DC or LA or Orange County or Missouri, those are going to be very, very different thresholds.
That's totally fair. All I know is I played around.
Some listener will call me and say, "Well, Andrew said the click should be this."
Yeah. Okay. Take everything I say with a grain of salt. I am describing my experience, what I've found. Your market might be different. Things may work a little differently there. You might not see $2 to $6 per click. You might not be as good looking as me. I don't know.
After this airs, some Energized client would call me and go, "Andrew said this should be my cost per click."
Yeah, I guess I got to be careful with what I say. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I assume everyone knows that stuff, but it's fair to point it out. That's you might not get the exact same results I get, but I can almost guarantee if you do it well, you will see a much lower cost per lead with the social media video ads than you're seeing in any other form of advertising. So that I can almost guarantee.
So for the marketing company founder point of view, the best way I can describe this to you guys, and we got to wrap this up, is Andrew's strategy is pretty applicable 90% of markets. Like it's very applicable. The thresholds and the resources it takes to run that strategy in each market is going to be vastly different. So the exact strategy Andrew is laying out will get you growth. Will it get you the growth Andrew's had in Florida? It all depends on the resources you have and what you invest in it and what the market conditions are. But the actual strategy, the skeleton of what he's saying, the structure of it, the fundamentals of it will get you growth.
Before we wrap this up, I know we're on a little bit of a time crunch. Next episode we're doing is gonna be a little shorter, so we'll have some extra time there. But I do want to touch on one more thing. This is like super important stuff, guys. So I would say definitely top 5% of the most important episodes we've done here. And now we're 100 plus episodes, I think, at this point in time. So if you've been just kind of glazed over, if you're at the gym not really paying attention, like I would go back and really listen to this episode and take some notes on it, because this really, really, really can just like catalyze the growth of your office if you do this stuff right. But I want to go back to the creating authority thing. So while like 95% of my ads are like truly ads, like with a call to action about sending me a message and, you know, all that, I have started recently doing something else that I think is also going to just further heat up our growth here with the Instagram. I've started doing some videos of myself talking about things like Invisalign. Invisalign's a big part of our practice. You know, we're Diamond Pro, but I've started doing some videos talking about Invisalign a little bit. And actually, I just started Invisalign on myself. So if you couldn't tell, I've got maybe a little bit of a lisp on this episode. Literally just started Invisalign on myself yesterday. When I was going through the planning process, when I finalized my ClinCheck, I did 2 different videos going through my ClinCheck. I did a longer form video where I explained some more stuff. It was like maybe like 4 minutes long. Posted that on my Instagram. And then I did a shorter video, literally 90 seconds exactly, cut out a little bit of extra stuff or whatever. But I got it down to exactly 90 seconds so that I could boost it, because again, you can't boost reels that are more than 90 seconds on Instagram. So 90 seconds, quicker version, talking about my teeth, myself. And the way that I start it is, again, that question, that hook. And my question is, does Invisalign work? And so people hear that and they're like, ooh, I have been wondering about Invisalign. Ooh, this sounds controversial. I want to listen. And the actual video is not really about if it works. It's more about like what we do with it. But again, I needed that hook to kind of get people in. And then again, I create authority. Hey guys, Dr. Andrew Vallow here, one of America's top 40 dentists. And after helping thousands of patients get the smile of their dreams with Invisalign, I am now doing Invisalign on myself. So over the next 60 seconds or so, I'm going to break down my Invisalign treatment plan that I made on my own teeth. And I'll tell you a little bit about how stuff works. And then I go into so the intro was probably 20 seconds or so. And then I go into about a minute or so of actually talking about, the video is blown up scan or the blown up ClinCheck of my teeth. I say, guys, those are my teeth. And so let's talk about some of the issues with my teeth that I'm trying to fix. And I went through things. Oh, you see how the midlines on the top and bottom are off? I'm going to line those up. Do you see how this tooth's kind of slanted? I'm going to upright that, make it straight. Do you see how you can't really see most of my bottom front teeth? That's called a deep bite. So I'm covering more of, so I'm literally just kind of step by step, quickly going through a few of the things that we're fixing with my Invisalign. I tell them about how long it is. I tell them, and then right near the end, I say, if you're in Florida and you're looking for a great new dentist, I have a few different locations across the state. You know, send me a message. I'm happy to offer you a free consultation. Just send me a message. Or if you have questions about dentistry or Invisalign specifically, send me a message. And then I say, stay tuned. I'm going to continue to document my own Invisalign journey on my Instagram page. So then I took that, I boosted it. And instead of boosting for messages, because I'm like, I don't really need to have a send message button. I want people to come check out my profile. So I boosted that ad for, I forget what it's activity or whatever it is. Basically, it encourages people to click your profile with the button, and then they can kind of see the other content I have. They can see some of the other ads and specials I'm running. They can see some before and afters, see my other videos, see pictures of me and my family. And then a lot of times they end up following me as well. So it is growing my authority. It's growing my viewership. And then as I post other videos for ads, like 50%, I'm about to do a video ad for, hey guys, you want to save 50% on Invisalign treatment? And then explain why I'm doing a 50% flash sale to celebrate myself doing Invisalign on myself. So it all comes full circle, guys. And it doesn't have to be Invisalign. You know, maybe you want to do veneers. Maybe you want to do Botox if you do that stuff, or you just want to do smile makeovers in general, or you want to talk about perio. I mean, whatever your passion is, create one, do advertisements with a call to action to send you a message with some kind of special or some kind of giveaway that's going to really make people want to message you, start those conversations. We literally at this point in time with all of our offices, we probably get like 1,000 patients a month from social media. As crazy as that sounds, for a much lower cost than we would on Google. And definitely, I don't know if we could get nearly that many patients on mailers, even if we spent a fortune on it. Then the second thing to do is create videos that aren't necessarily geared towards a special or not geared towards trying to get people in the door, but they're more geared towards building your authority, building your following. It's going to help make the other ads you do that much more effective. So
yeah, the only other comment is Andrew uses the word hook a lot, and I just want to real quick explain, Doc, so we're wrapping this up. The reason why it's called the hook is that is the fishing lure that hooks the fish. The rest of the process lands the fish. And sometimes docs think that the hook is the entire process. Once it's hooked and the communication is coming towards the practice, the way it gets landed is what happens once the doors are open and they're in the chairs. So the hook is just the beginning of the process, and that's what works. That's what starts bringing people towards your chair. So, hey guys, thank you for joining us. This is a really good episode. Doing social media ads with authority is a great subject. Guys, please hit like, subscribe, follow, share. Me and Andrew do not do this for money. There's no paid sponsors, but it really makes us feel fulfilled when you guys share and like and leave reviews and subscribe. Thank you guys and have a great day.